Okay, hello. Hello, people of the internet. Hello, people of YouTube. Welcome. Come chat with Sonic the Comic Reviews live stream this Saturday evening, morning, or afternoon, depending on what time of the day it is. Right. Here we've got quite a few comments in here already. It's been a while since we've had not only a stream or any content, and YouTube seems to keep updating things, and I'm a little bit behind with some of the updates, and they've updated their studio again with live streaming, and you now have to click two buttons to go live. So even though I click live on OBS, you need to also click it again now on YouTube Studio, or otherwise it won't interconnect. So that's why we had a little bit of a delay there with the live stream live. Yeah, but that doesn't matter, we're live and that's all that matters. Right, welcome all people we've got here. We've got some regulars here. Great to see people back. We've got quite a few people in the stream there, so I'm going to be doing like a general chat, questions, talking, whatever, anything on the table. And we've got some Sonic the Comic playing in the background. Quickly answer this question. Ristar, yes, I have played the great game. Kind of, it's gotten more attention now, the fact that it's usually always added onto compilation games. But yeah, good game. Hello, welcome all. So, why a random live stream out of nowhere? Well, the reason for that is today I was originally meant to have a video up, a big video that I've been working on. Unfortunately, it's taken me a lot longer, I should say, to do than my original plan was. So, instead of having nothing today, I figured let's do a live stream so I can talk to you all directly, or as direct as I possibly can over the internet. And my plan is next week. Next week, my goal is to have a new upload. That is when hopefully my new upload is going to be. It's going to be quite a big video, and I've been working on it for quite a while now, but it is coming. I'd probably say it's about 80% complete. Like I said, my plan was to have it this Saturday. I really fell behind. I had no idea how long it was going to take. And yeah, that's it. I'm almost certain next Saturday is the plan. I will have a new upload. Okay, what have we got here? Yep, sound is on there. Archie in the US. Hello, hello, new people. Reese and Dream Bean. What do I think of Archie Sonic comments? Sonic comics. Not particularly my favourite forte of Sonic in the comic media or in general. I think it's a bit of a mess when you look at it as one constructive timeline, because you've had so many different writers and artists come on board and leave over its entire span, so it's very hard to judge it from just one series. I think it should be more so based on like certain arcs and certain parts where writers are brought on. There's certain parts that are better of it and some that are a lot worse, basically. Yeah. I think in terms of the Archie comics, I think my favourites was actually the Sonic X spin-off, amazingly. Archie was weird. What's your opinion on Sonic Satam? Sonic the Hedgehog, right? The cartoon's good. Really enjoyed it. It used to air really ungodly hours in its original runtime, at least in the UK, like 7 in the morning on a Saturday. So it was really hard to try to catch viewings of it. But of all times to air it, like, it's such an unsociable time, especially for no kid really wants to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. You know what I mean? But no, I really enjoyed it. It's definitely one of my favourite Sonic cartoons. How is my weekend going? Oh, Spyro. It's, same as ever. All good. I hope everyone else's weekend is going well also. Let me know what you guys are up to. Gaming to catch up on? Okay, you've got quite a long username here. Let's say it. Sonic and Mario Universe Fan Gamer 1. But you've got the Sonic 3 box art as your avatar, so you get the thumbs up from me. That's the UK box art. At least it looks like it. Yeah, it is. You've gotten some Sonic comics for a while back. Anyway, you just got a new Sonic comic a few months ago when you couldn't join the live stream. Great to hear. You know, I'm not sure when the last live stream actually was. I know I did a gameplay video on Christmas Day, but that wasn't essentially a live stream. Got me thinking now. When was the last live stream? I don't know, but it's definitely been a few months. Has Ristar been in STC? You know, I think this was actually asked, and I'm sure this was one of the questions in one of the Speedlines letters. I think it was around issue like 70-ish, sort of around, and I'm sure it got a response. And I think it was actually teased that it was going to happen, but I don't know whether it was something to do with the rights situation or something, but it never happened, unfortunately. Which is a shame, because it would have been a good one. But I suppose when you look at it, there was many great Sega franchises that never made it to the comic. It very much annoys me when the chat box glitches and then I have to scroll all the way back up. But, okay. Here we go, I've caught back up. You had the sound off, Fleetway Supersonic. Welcome. Nice to see you again too. Can I show the chat? I've tried clicking it back on, but it doesn't seem to want to work. Yeah, as you can see, it's not doing it properly, so we're going to have it off this time. I'm not sure why. It might have been because I've updated OBS, and it's not. It needs to I need to tinker around with it. So, no chat this time. I'll get that sorted for next time. Yeah, it is already public as well, someone said there. You can just click the chat button on your phone if you're using it, or if you're on desktop. You should have it next to you, I hope. What are your thoughts on the upcoming Sonic, the upcoming series? Okay, so this is the Netflix. This is Netflix, right? I think that's got the rights to this, which is weird, because with a name like that, it should really be on Amazon, shouldn't it? But I digressed. I'm willing to give it a try. I'm certainly willing to give it a try. I mean, it's pretty great that all these streaming services now are kind of, well, there's kind of bad and good, I'd say. There's bad and good to these giant streaming services bringing back old franchises for new series. Let's get it out there. On a good hand, it's great because these franchises were probably never going to see the light of day again. On the bad side, some of them don't live up to the standard of the original. That may be a combination of a few things, mostly, depending on who's writing it, if it's the original team involved, and then we've also got, society has changed quite a bit since a lot of these shows originally run, so that might have an impact both positively and negatively on the show. But I'm willing to give it a go. I wasn't a big fan of Sonic Boom, so I'm hoping this will be good. Especially if it's animation as opposed to kind of that CGI look that Boom had. But it's Netflix, so we'll see. They've done some pretty questionable series over the few years, so we'll see. That was a long-winded response, I do apologise. Pokemon Diamond in light of recent announcement. So there must have been another announcement maybe. I'm a little bit out of the loop with some of these games that are coming out. I did watch the Nintendo Direct last week. It was pretty decent. And then I didn't watch it, but someone told me about a Sony Direct. Is it State of Play they called it? But it didn't sound very good, in my opinion. Okay, you just joined and you're eating soda and a sandwich. Well, that sounds pretty awesome to me. I'm just going to have a quick drink here myself. Have I read any of the Sonic manga, Redbeard? I think I have. Obviously translated. Yeah. I can't really read Japanese, but speak some of it. But yeah, I've read some. Have you heard there was a Sonic comic in France called Sonic Adventures? No, I didn't. I know Sonic the comic did get translated into France for a few issues. I don't know if that's a new one or whatnot, or around Sonic Adventure. This has nothing to do with Sonic the comic. Honestly, I know I've got Sonic the comic playing, but the live stream can be discussing about pretty much anything you want. It doesn't have to be Sonic the comic related. It's just a general chat, as the title says. So let me read the rest of your question. Has anyone tried going Super as Ashra in Sonic 2? Not me. Is this Sonic 2? Yes, this is technically sorta based off Sonic 2, yes. In fact, the Sonic the comic, the video games Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 are actually canon to the comic series. You have a question from Aspiro, and that's which videos am I most proud of? It's a good question. The history of Fleetway Supersonic seems to be the most popular. I don't know whether I'd say it's my most proudest. I'm definitely happy with it, but the new video that I'm working on, I might actually say could be my most proudest, just for the amount of time and work it took. That will hopefully be next week, but yeah. I'm quite happy with the Rise and Fall of Dr. Robotnik video I did, to be honest. I'm not going to say it weren't popular. It got like 30,000 views nearly. I'm quite proud of that one. Fleetway Supersonic saying you found my 50-minute documentary. That, as just said there, the Fleetway Supersonic video to Aspire. And it got you inspired and invested into the character. Well, you are more than welcome. I am simply a person trying to honour the legacy of Sonic Comic. I mean, the ultimate credit has got to go to the creator, Nigel Kitching, and I'm going to say main artist because he drew mostly all of it, Richard Elson. I know a couple other artists did it, but those two are kind of the brainchild behind Fleetway Supersonic. And I know Richard Elson did partially write some of the scripts for his stories anyway. Hello, Duke, Bravehog, and Flame the Hedgehog. You wish here in the US we got SBC. Yeah, I'm not going to lie, we were lucky to get Sonic the Comic. Welcome, Jose Luis. You shared this live stream. Thank you kindly. We've got quite a few people on here now. This is going awesome. I don't know whether I've got like a deadline for when this stream's going to end, but as long as it's active and keeps going, we will keep going for a while. How am I doing right now? Matthew Collins is asked. I'm very well, thank you. Thank you very much for asking, and I hope you're doing well too. I just missed a couple of comments here. Welcome. Yeah, I'm almost missing Mecca from the 80s. If you ever had a plush of a Sonic the Comic character, who would it be? I guess an easy response to that would be Super Sonic, right? I think that would be an awesome character to have. Because I guess technically, you know, unless you kind of go with the Sonic with the up spikes from the kind of, you know, from issue 103, 6 onwards, most Sonic plushes could kind of be, you know, said to be Sonic, so I kind of want to go for a more exclusive character. A Robotnik one would be awesome too, but I know we do have the Save the World Robotnik plush, quite a rare one. Yeah, so I'm going to say Super Sonic. Welcome, Lucas Caravallo. Sorry if I butchered your name there. You think SDC was Europe only? Very rare. Yeah, I guess unless... I don't know how he would have got it in the US back in the day, because obviously the internet really was its infancy then, and like in the 90s, I know, at least in that period of time, I only had access to the internet from school, and that was like literally 1 or 2 hours, if that, a week. And I don't think, you know, places like eBay and stuff didn't exist then, so I have no idea how you would have had that imported. Okay. You'll stay for another 40 minutes and you have to get to work on your video. Sounds good to me. Wouldn't it be cool if SDC was re-released in volumes? As long as it was released faithfully, then definitely. Can you imagine if they released it and started changing things on it, or altering some of the scenes just for the sake of it? What Sonic comic series is my favourite? I guess if I was to answer anything other than SDC, then I really shouldn't be running this channel. Welcome, Crash Test Goku. I apologise if it's taken me so long to get to the comments. I am scrolling down. Great to see you here for another live stream. It's been a long time, very long, but great to see you. Hope everyone is having a great weekend wherever you are. Mecca from the 80s has got some detail. You imagine it was by mail through relatives. Yeah, I can imagine that was probably the only way, the guy Silver, that it would have been possible. It really would have. And then you can honestly say vice versa, really, with the UK. It would have been really hard to get hold of the Archie comics, because, you know, there weren't really... There was a few comic book stores around, I suppose, and if you go into the capital of London, they may have had, because they may have had some American comics in there, so it might have been possible. It probably would definitely been harder for an American to get a hold of a UK comic back in that era. You thought Metamorphia was inspired by Terminator 2's T-1000. I suppose that certainly could be a considered comparison. I've never actually really thought of her in that way before, though. But no, she was inspired by shapeshifters like the Skrulls. I guess so, because you've got to think the T-1000, he had limitations to what he could, transform into. It could only be objects that are similar size to himself, really. Whereas when you look at Metamorphia's abilities now, you can see it definitely does have similarities with Super Skrull. Mike drew her as a bear when she was pretending to be a girl, but her basic form was created by Gilmour, so she wasn't a specific animal, she was a construct. Interesting, very interesting. I appreciate you taking the time to find this knowledge out of a relatively forgotten character. I mean, when you ask someone Sonic the Comic, they'll probably go straight away Super Sonic. Or they'll go angry Sonic, jerk Sonic. Sonic was a jerk, and then that's probably a lot of where new people's perspective might end, or they might be like, "Oh, that was the series that had Ping as Robotnik, right?" It's only when you start going down the chain, people that have gone a bit more that they'll find out who Metamorphia is. I suppose when you think of it, it was a character that. It did appear infrequently, really, in the series. It started off with, excuse me, a few regular appearances. I think issue 30 was actually the debut issue, and then the next issue. And then, I suppose when you think of it, actually she was in quite a few. At least about 4 or 5 stories. I suppose when you consider even only Commander Brutus, who is a much more recognisable and more well-known character, only actually appeared in 3 stories, but 4 if you include Showdown. But I suppose a lot of his popularity probably comes down to that he fought Super Sonic. Okay. Can you make a video about history of Sonic the Comic, Sonic? That's not what I'm working on, but I definitely plan to do something like that one day. I mean, it's the main character, right? Obviously, that's going to be a lot of work to do something like that. That's like 184 issues. You've got to think Sonic was in every single issue, and, rightfully so. He's the name of the comic, right? So I think eventually I will do something like that, but it will have to be in several parts to obviously make it not an over-bloated workload for me, because I don't want to give too much away, but the video I've got coming is a history video, and it's only from a certain few issues, and it still took me so long to make. If YouTube was my career and I sat here all day, I could probably get these sort of videos out more frequently. But, yeah. Fortunately not. Fortunately, I'm shackled to the realities of life. Hello, Joseph. String. Do you have any details on what future stories would have been if the comic? I have. I do have direct access to the people that would have wrote and drew them as well, and again, it's going to have to be a future video. There's a lot of things I'd love to sit and talk about this, because there's a lot of unanswered questions that were... There was a lot of resolves from the end of Sonic the Comic, issue 184. There was also a lot of ones that... A lot of unanswered questions that were going to be followed up on, such as the supposed end of Supersonic, you know. What was Dr. Robotnik going to do? These were questions that were going to be answered in if the comic had continued. So eventually, yes, I will get around to that. Just please don't expect it next week or anything. Supersonic is gender fluid. I don't know about that. I mean, technically, well, not technically about it. Sonic is a guy, so I don't wish, you know. Well, you're welcome to your opinion, though. I guess at the end of the day, you see this with a lot of writers and to a certain extent artists who say things about characters or whatnot about a particular franchise or series and say this is that, but unless it's got that stamp of approval by the actual publisher, it's definitely not considered canon. There was one Australian Sonic comic that had to do something funny. Interesting. Okay. Audio difficulty? No, the stream should be in excellent condition. I had to kind of mute it a little bit there because a bit of a crackly voice. Just tried to clear it out. Okay, welcome Ben Robert, apologies if I misspelled your name there. Asking a good question. Just wondering, how do you manage to find the original artwork prints? Well, funny you mention that. There is some for sale on there right now that Richard Elson is selling, and they're from a pretty phenomenal arc. It's actually the Running Wild arc he's selling. 5 pages from Running Wild, part 1. They're on eBay right now. I don't think I'm allowed to post links on here because I don't think eBay allows it for whatever reason. If you just go on eBay, if you're Scotland, then it shouldn't matter anyway, it'll come up. And if you just put Sonic the Comic or just that, they will come up probably right near the search engine. I think they're around £50 each at the moment. But yeah, if you want some original artworks, you've come at a good time because they end tomorrow. I'll try to put the link in here, just see if eBay will allow it. Let's see, will you allow a link posted? No, it won't. Unless I try to go on this one. Maybe this link will work. Okay, if that's come up, that is a link to the eBay selection. Hope that helps you. So yeah, pretty much eBay is the best bet to get them to finish answering your question, Ben. Yeah, I've been kind of buying artworks, not so much nowadays anyway, but for the last 10 years, I'd say most of them, a lot of them have come from eBay. Usually the original artists themselves. A couple have been from other collectors who have bought them and then resold them on. Unfortunately, a few of the original artists have passed on, so they don't have, they can't obviously sell the artworks to us anymore. Richard Elson has sold, he's sold a lot over the last 15 years. I don't know how many more he's got left, really, to be honest with you, because he has been selling a lot. Especially supersonic ones, there can't be that many of them left. So yeah, Let's see. You love Sonic the Comic stories? Me, and hopefully we all do too, Matthew. Having the pink chemical plant water as a villain is very cool. I agree. There we go. Yeah, I'm not going to read the second part of your name now. You just finished recording some Sonic voice audio? Okie dokie, the guy, Silver. Prosecutor Walton. To be honest, Richard and Nigel K are really easy to reach overall. They are. They are quite easy to find on social media, and they are two absolutely really wonderful, kind people, and they might take a little bit of time, but they usually will reply to anyone that reaches out to them, as long as it's like not just a one sentence thing or saying like, hey, give me something. But yeah, I mean, I know when I first met both of them, they were really wonderful people. Richard's actually gone on to becoming one of my best friends now, which is really amazing when you think of it. This was, I don't know, this definitely was a person I looked up as a hero as a child. His artwork was amazing to me. Actually got me into drawing at that time. I wanted to be like him as an artist. Of course, it turns out that I'm not an artist. You know, I do think when it comes to art, being an artist, you don't have to agree or disagree with this, but I think you do have to be born with that type of skill. You can work really hard, but you know, sometimes you're just not going to get there as it. Sometimes you're just not. You're not going to be it. I think that, and that's not just as an artist either. I think a lot of skills are like that. I think some people are just born to do things better than others in that regard. But yeah, anyway, I'm getting a bit off topic here. Mecha from the 80s. Back in 2018, Lou Stringer mentioned that he created Techno as a companion for Amy. So I guess Techno Short Fuse Adventures came later. Yeah, I guess the thing you've also got to take with Lou Stringer is that he has forgotten a lot of his time with Sonic the Comic. So he kind of has contradicted himself a couple of times with some of the things he has said. Of course, a lot of it he says is accurate, but he's said slightly different things over the years because he will openly admit that he can't remember what he did at that particular time. And that's totally understandable. That's like me saying to you, can you remember what you did on this specific day 12 years ago at 12 p.m? You're going to probably have a hard time thinking about it, because I know I would. I think Lou has actually said that that's one of the reasons why he's not gone to any of the, or at least not many of the Sonic conventions in the past, because he feels bad, because people ask him about his works and he honestly can't remember. Yeah, I did know Sonic is blue. Yes, I remember you all. Matthew Collins. What are your thoughts on you giving Super Sonic the character development he deserves? Everyone's welcome to do whatever they want. Whatever character you want. If you want to go for it, you go for it. I mean, I think everyone has the freedom to make a, whatever you want to call it, fan continuation or ideas that you might think are great. Go right ahead for it. I think at the end of the day, we've all got ideas for anything Sonic related that we would do to make something better. I'm pretty sure most people here probably would have an idea better to have improved Sonic Forces than what we got, right? Plushie of an STC character, already answered that, but I will say again, Supersonic. Yes, indeed, the Running Wild arc. That might well be the final pages for that arc as well. I know part 3 are all gone. I know that because I have them. I think part 2 might have also gone as well. I have noticed though that there are 2 pages that are ominent from that set that's been listed, and I guess you could say they're probably the best pages that are not for sale. That might be because they've already been sold on, or maybe Richard wants to keep those. But they're still very amazing pages, and the 2 pages that are not on there is the one where Sonic gets out very, very well-known images. The one where Sonic comes from the Emerald Chamber saying he wants to destroy Amy Rose, and the other one where he literally it's the whole page where he's blasting towards Amy and Tails, saying he's going to kill her. Forces was just discount SDC and Saddam. I agree. Mike Hadley, he had the best art. Yeah, I you know, if that's what you like, that's what you like. I liked Mike Hadley's art too. He did get a little bit lazy towards the end of his run, but he's still done a much better artist than me, so I'm not gonna criticise him. His artwork's great. Sonic Forces needed work. You know, I played it and enjoyed it when it first came out as well. Then I completed it in about an hour, and I'm thinking, you know, at first I enjoyed it. It was a fun hour. It was a very fun hour. But then look what I'm saying here. I paid £35, I think it was, for 1 hour. Yeah, I know, you got replay ability in it. You can technically go back and do this and that in it, but I don't know, this was one of the one Sonic games that I just really, really didn't want to go back and replay again. And I've tried to go back to it, I really have, and I just can't. I can't play it. Honestly, it's just... would I say it's unplayable? No, it's not an unplayable game. It's not even a really, really bad game. It's just mediocre. It's just average. It's just an average game. I wouldn't honestly pay any more than like £10 from it, or $10, whatever you want to say. It's really not worth any more than that. And I really sighed. I sighed hard when I saw that they put like Avatar fan characters as the thing in it. I really did. Did you make it on time? You did, Laon Millar. If you were in Sonic the Comic team, would you allow it to go full reprint? No, of course not. I think if, like, let's just say Fleetway had come, because it was Fleetway at the time, and then obviously it merged to Eggmount. You know, no pun intended. Let's just say Eggmount, like, you know, they put the ultimatum on you and they said, like, you know, you've got to have reprints. I think that if that was going to be the case, it should at least have only have gone to 1 reprint story per issue. And I was fine with that when I was buying these. I was fine with them adding reprints, because at the time I'd missed out on some of these issues, or I'd lost the original issues and they're destroyed or whatnot. When it started to go to 2 reprint stories, then it was 3, and then obviously finally it was 4 reprint issues, there was no new stories. It's a huge sellout, you know. Lou Stringer said in one of his interviews, he said as soon as they started putting reprints in the comic, they knew it was over. He knew it was over. He knew the comic series was on borrowed time. There's no doubt. Fleetway got greedy. They tried to cash in by Sonic the Comic's immense popularity, as opposed to not paying writers or artists to do new stories. So let's just reprint old ones, and then that way we don't have to pay any of the artists or writers, and then we should still get the same money. These fans won't notice. These fans don't care. We've got new younger fans coming anyway, so why do we care? Turns out the Sonic the Comic fan base is very loyal, and they stuck with that franchise all the way. And when they saw reprints, they saw that as a betrayal and a slap in the face. And as a result, the sales started to slowly go down per issue. And yeah, obviously a lot more headaches come along the way. Nigel Kitching temporarily got fired. And it just the Shanazar arc, although I do like it, was definitely one of the weaker story arcs for Sonic the Comic. So it all the bad stuff kind of happened at one point, really. Even speaking to Richard Elson before, he has openly said that, you know, that portion of time on his work at Sonic the Comic he considered not great. His artwork, for instance, on there, even though I look at it and still think that's incredible artwork, even he says he didn't really he didn't put as much into it as he really would have liked to, because his heart was just kind of not really in, it was sinking. You can also get Shadow DLC. You know what? I didn't even download it. I was done with the game when I completed it, Mecha. I was done with it, and I'm really not a big fan of the Infinite character. You know what I mean? We've got the edgy character with Shadow, right? Why did we need another one? Yeah. Your Switch friend code, Stacy. There it is. My Switch code is in the description of this live stream if anyone wants to add me, as also is my PSN username, which is Emperor Metallics. Feel free to add me on either, and I will accept and add you. I'm always up for adding more friends online. You feel like Sonic Forces could have had DLC for Sonic Mania. Do you also remember the huge uproar when they tried to force fans to pay for the Chaos Emeralds to have Super Sonic? And then they shortly backtracked afterwards and said, no, actually it's free now. Yeah, I remember it. Mark, apologies if I butcher your name, Mark Oga Creations. Dude, I love your channel. Well, thank you very kindly. You have every Sonic the Comic from issues 1 to 120. Well, that's awesome. Thank you very much kindly for the compliment. I really appreciate it. And you've got a very impressive collection there. Do you reckon you'll try to get the rest of them? Thank you very kindly for the super chat of Spyro3, and that's really, really kind. Really kind. It's like money here, real money. It all goes to help the channel, honestly. It all keeps me motivated, headstrong, to keep pushing the channel forward, and keep producing high quality content as much as I can. Why do I think issue 261 is canon? That's the one I've got on the channel, right? The reason that's canon is because Sega approved it. Alright? Anyone can write any Sonic story. Anyone can write anything they want Sonic related. Unless Sega put that approval to it and put the stamp on it, saying that, yep, that is official, then it's not going to be. You know, there's technically, I think that story was wrote very cleverly, to be honest with you, because I do apologise, I can't remember the writer of it. I know it was partially drawn by the late Nigel Dobbyn, but they wrote that story as in a way it wasn't really directly connected to the Sonic the Comic Online continuation. It was wrote as in the way that could have been issue 185, for instance, back in the day. So it was wrote in a way that it was linked more so to the canon Sonic the Comic as opposed to the online non-canon continuity. That was a lot of big words. You could consider it non-canon if you want, but I guess you've got to realise nothing really happens in that comic that really changes stories or characters. It's just Sonic meeting his past self, and they have an argument, and they honour Johnny's life. That's literally it. And it was also wrote by Nigel Kitching as well, you've got to remember. Whereas his last story, Exit Sonic, is not considered canon. And, well, yeah, because it's not got the approval of Sega. For one, so you know what I mean. If it hasn't got that, then it's not going to be canon. And two, even the original artist and writers may approve Sonic the Comic Online. They, you know, some of them won't necessarily they do approve it, but they will tell you, as they've told me, it's not canon. It's not canon to the series. It's not considered canon. It's great. They like it. They approve it, but it's not canon. These comics look nice. Thank you, Sai Patel, and welcome to the live stream. If SDC got a sequel in 2021, would you join it? Yeah, sure, why not? It would probably be a vastly different comic series, though. So, I mean, Nigel Kitching has said that he's never going to write Sonic ever again. But I suppose if enough money was put in front of him, you know, anything's possible, right? Everyone has a price, yeah? And Richard Elson's tied up to many other very big franchises that he works on. He's very much in demand, so they'd need to offer him probably big bucks to get him on board as well. Prosecutor Walter, one of the things that you would have improved about the Shannon's arc would have been to have Grimer actively bring Robotnik back, simply because that would have changed the character dynamics going forward. Yeah, sounds like a good idea. Sounds like a good idea to me. Are you ever going to review the online issues? No. Because I want to keep this channel solely focused on canon material. Right? Look at other franchises, for example, you know, let's take one, Star Wars, for example. There is so much non-canon material that is from that franchise that you could literally, you know, you get lost in what's canon and what's not. So a lot of the Star Wars channels you'll see out there, and I'm not really a big Star Wars fan anyway, well, at least not the Disney Star Wars, but a lot of these channels only focus on the canon material, because at the end of the day, that's the only stuff that matters, really. If I ever do, because never say never, right? If I ever do start to focus on the online issues, I think I will create a separate channel for that. Mac of the 80s. Oh, Shadow is in a bad place right now. Well, I mean, he's not really been the same since... what game did it really start to fall off on him? Because even Sonic 06, he still had quite a lot of support, and I didn't mind essentially how he was portrayed in that game. I think it was... not that sure, really. Maybe Generations, like when they all got the new voice actors and they kind of changed it around a bit. It kind of went a bit downhill from there. Back in the 90s and early 2000s, you'd do a paper round for £2.50 a week. Those were the good times, right? £2.50 as well. My gosh, what paper round was you doing? I know I never did it. But I know a few people that did do a paper round, and I'm sure they got about £10 a week. So wherever you were doing your paper round, they were underpaying you, definitely. But still, you managed to get Sonic the Comic, and and that would have still given you change. Sonic the Comic, of course, started its life at 95p and then went up all the way to £1.50 for its final issues, with the exception of a couple of spin-off ones which were a little bit more money. Yes, would be cool if you could work for Sonic Team, Stacey. Hello, Sonic the Comic Reviews. Silver the Crazy Gamer asking. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. Final question from Fleetway Supersonic. Do you think that in the future there will be more demand for Fleetway Supersonic? I think there's always going to be demand and popularity for this character. There's a few reasons behind that. You're always going to have people in the modding community modding the character into certain games. I think most recently and the most popular was probably the mod in Sonic Mania. Someone replaced Metal Sonic as Fleetway Supersonic, and you know, all you need is a popular mod like that to take off, or for instance someone to do an animation of a Sonic comic and have Fleetway Supersonic in it to get a real sort of big viral boost for that character. So I think there's always going to be that demand and popularity for Fleetway Supersonic, yes. So your channel will always have demand, and from experience, the majority of my most popular videos are Fleetway Supersonic related videos. They are. If you're doing Fleetway Supersonic videos, you'll be fine. In fact, I think my second most popular video is the history of Supersonic 1, and it may well end up becoming #1 eventually. It's on like over 300,000 views, which is amazing. Oh, thank you very kindly for the super chat, awesome jacket dude. It's really good to see you back on it, and I really appreciate your support. You always usually pop in a super chat. You don't have to, but you normally always do, and it really is really appreciative. As I said to Spyro, all these super chats go into the motivation, putting into the time and effort into this channel. It's definitely not wasted, and I really, really do appreciate it. You're a very, very kind person. Justice Dallas, you were? Yeah, sure. I don't forget people easily. Glad to hear you're doing well. Awesome jacket, dude. Yeah. So as I started on this stream, and that's a little bit boring talking about YouTube in general, but they've changed it again because you used to be able to have, I think it was 12 widgets on the home page. So when you put playlists or certain video selections on there, you could put boom, 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 boom. They've changed it now to only having 10 widgets. And they've also forcibly made the featured channels selection as a widget, which is a real pain because I've now had to remove it because #1, I had too many widgets on there, and they said I had to remove them. I don't know why YouTube are forcing you to have the featured channels as an actual playlist now. Essentially, it doesn't make no sense at all. Because even on mobile, you can just click the channels button anyway, and you can see the channels. I don't understand it. So unfortunately, I have had to remove it. It's a bummer, and also another playlist as well. Yeah, I do question some of YouTube's decisions. Yeah, no spam in the chat, otherwise I am going to have to mute or kick people, I'm afraid. But we've been going now for about an hour, amazingly. It's pretty awesome, because this is the first chance I've actually had to stop. Admins, at the moment, it's fine, because I don't really consider myself a big channel, so I don't really get that like overwhelming amount of viewers here on streams. But if the day does come and I do require some admins, I will contact you for sure. And it's very kind of you to actually ask and offer for that. I really do appreciate it. If I had a concurrent viewers of like 500 or something, it might be a little bit more harder for me to keep up. Okay, now you've really gone crazy, and it's so much appreciated. Awesome jacket, dude. I can't thank you honestly enough for your super chat. It's awesome. $20. That means a lot. That's a lot of money to me, and that must be a lot of money to you too. So for you to donate that amount of money is pretty amazing. Honestly, I can't thank you enough. Come back next Saturday and should have a brand new video for you to enjoy and everyone else. I'm hoping it's going to be uploaded around 7 or 8 in the evening, around this time next week. Be sure to come back. If I've got it ready beforehand, I'll put it up as a preview link probably a day or two before. Yeah, I can see a few other people here saying literally no one has to donate if they don't want to. Of course, every donation is very much appreciated, but no one has to donate. I'm not going to be one of them people here that sits here and asks for money. I'm not like one of those channels. Please don't. No one has to donate if they don't want to. It does help immensely me and whatever, but you don't have to. Just being on the stream and thumbing it up and interacting is just all more than I could even dream of asking anyone for. Just sucks that YouTube takes 30%. Yeah, good old Google, right? Power in that machine, right? There's a reason they've become the most one of the most powerful companies in the world. Something that makes you sad is you were born just after the reprints killed STC. Yeah, that pretty sucks to be a time to get into the comic. It was several years before you know, getting hold of the older issues would have been obtainable. I know visiting boot sales around that time often had Sonic the Comic issues plentiful. Like, if you'd have gone to a boot sale, some people call them boot fairs, whatever you want to call them, yard sales, whatever, you know. If you'd have gone to one of those around the mid to late 90s, early 2000s, there was a very high % chance you would have found someone selling Sonic the Comic issues. If there was like a stall that had toys or stuff there would have probably been Sonic stuff and Sonic the Comic issues. And it wasn't until eBay kind of started to rise up that, you know, people eventually started listing them on there. Unfortunately, there did used to be a website called comicalgames.com, which I had bought from many times, that used to sell old issues of Sonic the Comic, but unfortunately, the owner of the website, I have spoken to briefly a few years ago. I don't know whether I couldn't keep up with it or was too busy with other things in his life, which is totally understandable. People have got full-time jobs, they've got families, kids to look after. You know, running a website is in just your free time, it's a lot to ask for, and I guess that's why he probably had to shut it down. It is a shame. You have to leave, Fleetway Supersonic. Well, thank you very kindly for joining the live stream anyway. Have a good rest of your evening too. Goodbye. Okay, Mecca from the 80s. I've asked this before, I have answered it before, and it's a very good idea. I really do want to get something like that done, and I think I can get Richard on here one day to do a Q&A with us. I'm sure we can set it up. I'm in the process of getting a couple of new microphone and stuff to get some stuff done on here, and I know Richard's a very, very busy person, but if we can spare 15-20 minutes of his time to do a Q&A on here, or if he can't do it live, what I might do is I might do a community tab or a video asking people to submit questions, and then we can get his responses to all of them, because I've certainly got some questions I'd like to also ask him, and we can do a follow-up video to it. It's definitely on the table. I really, really want to do something like that one day. I know, but maybe you changed your plans. No, honestly, my plans haven't changed. I'm just so busy nowadays. Honestly, I work full time in another job, and it's a tiresome job. And whatever other time I've got is I have to do other stuff too. Obviously the channel as well focus on people I know. It takes a lot of time up. Sometimes I'll get to a day off and I'm just tired and I can't be asked to do anything. It sucks, it really does, but that's just life. Maybe it's definitely going to happen one day. It will happen, promise you. I want to get Richard on here. He's a subscriber to the channel as well. It may even be watching. Yes, very good idea, Prosecutor Walton. And thank you for joining Silver the Crazy Gamer. Much appreciated you joining. I might have to eventually get also we'll do like another 24-hour live stream perhaps, running Sonic the Comic. And what I might do this time is I might actually do me talking for some of it, for a lot of it. Maybe I'll see how long I can go for talking to people, and when I leave, or either sleep or whatever, I'll leave the stream running so people can come back and join in if they want to catch up on Sonic the Comic. I've seen some YouTubers do that in the past, and it's quite fun to watch actually, and to see a live stream go on and on and on and on and on. Sometimes it's fun to see how long a channel can continually keep a live stream up for. It is quite fun. I think my record at the minute is 36 hours. I think it is about that. Maybe we'll try to break that. So, issue 20, we are at the reappearance of Supersonic. I guess the truth of the matter is with this this story, if Supersonic wasn't in this particular story, it would probably be considered quite a throwaway one. Was I implying I was going to talk for 24 hours? Well, I mean, I could sit here and talk for maybe as long as I possibly could. Don't think I'd be able to do 24 hours. Maybe if I didn't have a job, I could try it. There's streams that started over a year ago. It's insane. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. I mean, the majority of them are just like people uploading gameplay, right? What I've seen of those, it's cool. I don't think I'd want to put that much continual stress on my computer, even though I've got pretty good spec. Pretty good specs on it. I don't think I'd still want to stress it for going on and on and on and on and on and on. But live streams are a very good way to increase watch time on your channel. So if you're trying to get the YouTube algorithm to, boost your channel, one of the key factors for that is you need watch time. Live streams are an excellent way of getting a lot more lot more watch time on your live stream. We've been going for an hour, right? So if even two people have watched this the whole way through, we've had a lot more. That's 2 hours of watch time immediately on the channel. The more watch time you get, YouTube notices that, and then they will start to promote your material more. We are on 39 likes as well for the live stream. That is awesome. It's funny, there was actually a stream I was looking at. Well, I wasn't particularly looking at my way for it, that popped up in my recommended feed earlier, and it said it had been streaming since the 11th of February, which is pretty incredible. That was a gameplay one too. And when we're on the topic of streaming, welcome Lil Sega 64. Okay, so Michael Cleland, I think I might have pronounced that right. Apologies if I didn't. I haven't seen you on stream, so firstly, welcome. But you've asked a good question, and that is how much, if any, did Sega influence in the comic in terms of content? Now, I've seen some people throw around accusations that, Sega had no involvement whatsoever with, the writers and artists, and they had literally free reign to do whatever they want. This is incredibly false. Sega had a lot more influence than people think. Although the writers would have, without a doubt, would have had a lot more leverage back in that era of time, the 90s, as opposed to what writers probably do have so much now. Sega always, all the strips that were wrote and drawn had to still be approved by Sega. They would have had to have checked it all. There was only a few times Nigel Kitching has stated that Sega intervened and said that can't be done. And some of them were just silly things, really. One of the strips, one of the Nigel Dobbyn drawn strips, where Knuckles goes into a bar, originally had him with an alcoholic beverage. Sega said, no, that can't happen, that's got to be done, you can't do that. And then there was another one where Knuckles was going to be hanged. The ropes was around his neck, but Sega said, no, you can't do that. So the rope was changed to go around his waist instead. So yeah, Sega did have a lot more influence. Nigel Kitching has stated though that the other non-Sonic related strips, such as Decap Attack, he literally had pretty much free reign to do whatever the hell he wanted. Like, ripping a guy's head off in Decap Attack, totally fine. But the Sonic, Sega, they had influence, although it's nothing compared to what it's like today, though. And I know that from speaking to one of the artists who has worked alongside Sega again, and he has told me that Sega are so super, I don't know what's the word, maybe, too controlling, I suppose, of the talent. And he has told me that if this is what Sega was like that controlling, if they were this controlling back in the Sonic the Comic run in the 90s, then he probably would have just quit and he would have finished his work and then he wouldn't have done any more because it would have been too much. But that's just what Sega are like now. A pretty long-winded response, but I hope I've answered you. Thank you for the compliment of Spyro for the music choices. Appreciate it. The music choices that I fit on videos. Marty is cool. He is indeed. Something you like about Robotnik and SDC is how Richard ended up tweaking it and making it more of his own design, even if it was things like making the pin on his head. Yeah, I totally agree. I love Robotnik's design towards kind of from around the Drake and Empire arc, where his design went through the most drastic change, where his head was moved more hunched over, so his head was placed in the top half of his body as opposed to the top part of the body. If you go look at the design, you'll see what I mean. He vastly gained weight. He had very grossly obese. Now we're talking really obese. And his pinhead slowly become more rounded. Really awesome. Love his design of Robotnik. Yes, Deborah Tate had quite a bit of influence as well. She had a lot of influence, for example, actually, and I know she did clash with one of the writers at one point, or a few points. So she was kind of like you got to remember, the editor, it's basically, the writer writes the stuff. That writing has to be approved by the editor, and then that gets approved by Sega. That's how the chain works. So you have to essentially get your work approved by two people. overbearing. Yeah, many demands, you know. Like I said, yeah, Sega still had to approve everything back in the day. They didn't just say, do what you want, but it's nothing like what it is now. And that's from speaking to someone that worked with them only last year compared to what it was back then. You know, I think there's pros and cons to that as well. I think, you know, there does need to be some shackles on what talent is doing to the product. You know, I don't think that you know, one person should have the right to do whatever they want with the character, because that can be an absolute mess, to be honest with you. But I also don't think that the talent should be so heavily restricted, to be honest with you. They really shouldn't, to the point where it's like they can't do anything. Really nothing at all. So it's kind of, you've got to really have a correct balance of the matter. And Sonic the Comic really kind of nailed this, really. There was a correct balance between you know, the publisher and the talent. Did Fleetway Sonic ever have any controversy? You know, it did get a few. There was a few complaints. Some even were published in speed lines, but no, not really. You got to remember, this type of character of Sonic and its humour was very much a product of the 90s. This is just normal. A lot of people would look at that now and feel like, oh, what a jerk. Why would he do that? Not. This was kind of very much a norm thing around that era. You know, there were some, even in speed lines that you'll look through some of the issues, you might find the odd one where someone says, oh, you know, I didn't like Sonic was a bit too mean to such and such. But then there were some lines in there that I remember reading. One of the questions says that, oh, he's not mean enough to Amy. So, you know, no, there was no real big controversy of like Sonic. Not to my direct knowledge. Long-time admirer of the channel. Thank you very much, Michael. Michael, really appreciate that. Grew up with STC. Do you know what the peak in terms of sales were? You've definitely got it right there on the nail on the head. We're talking definitely peak. It would have been around like issue 50 to like issue 110. That would definitely be considered like the golden era, or a lot of people would say the stories themselves, but also the sales. The comic was literally on fire at that point. Like, there was so many staff that was employed by them as well. So many not so much writers. Sorry, that was wrong, because there's technically only 2 writers, with the exception of maybe some of the non-Sonic related strips. But there were so many artists they had employed at that point, because the comic was selling so well, so they needed more stories. Obviously they can't rely on Richard to do everything, because some issues they had 4 or 5 stories in them. But I guess, yeah, around the year brackets you've said there, definitely. It still boggles my mind, really, to think that the comic itself sold more than 5 million issues in the UK. That at that time and point is it really goes to show you. Of course, for Nigel Kitching and, you know, Richard Elson and the other artists, the talent of the world they create on there, but it also goes to show you just how popular Sonic the Hedgehog was in the 90s. For the younger people in the streams, it's really hard to understand just how popular Sonic used to be. Sonic's always popular, don't get me wrong, Sonic still is popular. You know, everyone likes Sonic, well, to a degree. But in that era of time, it's very hard to describe just how popular it was. It was immense. I guess the only way I could describe it, and this is a pretty poor comparison, I do apologise, but think just how popular Fortnite is, right? It's everywhere, right? I don't know whether it's still as popular now as it was maybe a year or 2 back, but everywhere, right? You saw it, merchandise, whatever, everyone's playing it, all YouTubers are playing it, whatever. I guess I can describe it to something like that sort of popularity of how big it was. It was huge. Two other artists drew a real firearm in the comic book, and it was yeah. You like how the Knuckles stories and STC had their own style? Definitely. Indeed. Sonic, that attitude was very much in the Sonic media in the 90s. Very, very much so. So what people might look at now as not liking Sonic's opinion, that was what Sonic was, at least in the UK at that point in time. Favourite zone? Actually, a good question. I guess we'll use the whole Sonic universe for this as an example, not just essentially Sonic the comic. Favourite zone? That's a hard question. There's many that I like. Favourite? You know, I've always used to be a big fan of Lava Reef Zone. Both. I think it's because Act 1 and Act 2 are so vastly different from each other. Whereas, even though the other acts for other Sonic games are kind of different, they change around a little bit, those two acts kind of really feel like they're different zones altogether. So that's what I really would used to say, and you know, I'm going to say that for now. We'll just say Lava Reef, I'm going to say. And it was very well represented in Sonic the Comic as well. Just throw that out. So we've reached the Sonic Terminator arc, one of my absolute favourite arcs of the franchise, and I reckon we'll finish watching the story of the Sonic CD arc, and I might begin to start wrapping it up then, I think. Which will be issue 28. Yes, the Pokemon franchise was huge back in its day too, but I guess some of the people in the stream probably were a bit too young to remember that as well. So I was trying to really compare it to something modern. Just so some of the people get an idea of just how big it is. Favourite transformation from any Sonic series? I'm going to say Sonic Adventure 2. Even though Sonic Adventure 1 is my preferred favourite out of the two, there was a lot of heart and emotion for the transformation in Adventure 2 with Sonic and Shadow going super. It had a real purpose for what they were doing, because you know, if they weren't going to do that, then the world was going to literally end. And now, unfortunately, you know, a lot of the more recent Sonic games, the whole Supersonic transformation has just been, you know, so predictably expected. You know, like, hey, big bad guy, transform Supersonic, you need to beat him. There's no like real reason other than, you know, beat the bad guy. So yeah, I'll say Adventure 2. Favourite Sonic game? Yeah, Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I did a video last year, totally my favourite Sonic games. I think I did top 50. You know, I remember speaking to Richard years ago about that character, the one we just saw there, the one who captured Sonic, the pig. I remember him, he was quite annoyed because he put a lot of time into creating that character, a lot of time into the character detail. The pig, not Porg, of course, the pig bad guy, I've forgotten his name now. I think I remember this was a convention he was talking to him about, and he was quite annoyed because he got used once, and that was it, never again. He's like, I went all that detail into it, all that time creating him, and he was never used again. What do you think about modern badniks? They are actually classic badniks, but everyone is scared about them for some reason. I mean, giant, fat robot bird. Is it? I really don't know what I'm talking about here. Yeah. Christ, the modern badniks in Sonic Forces weren't really anything to be desired about, were they? The AI, we're getting a bit off topic here with your question, but I know the AI was appalling on the badniks or robots, whatever you want to call them. Was I aware of a Sonic 1 prototype that dropped recently? I wasn't. No, so thank you for making me aware of it. I'm kind of out of the loop with a lot of news nowadays because I'm just so busy with everything. This is the reason why I'm really not on Discord that much. For anyone that's a part of the Discord group, that is just why. But I will always reply to messages and comments. It just may take a little bit of time. What do I think of the idea behind Gilmour? He kinda took over the inventing side of things from Robotnik. And also, are you in the Eggman camp or Robotnik camp? Oh, it's got to be Robotnik camp. I know Eggman is technically the true name of the character because that's what Sega of Japan created. And at the end of the day, Sega of Japan are the, you know, father of all of Sonic. But you know, I grew up with Robotnik, and I just think Robotnik just sounds like such a better name than Eggman. It just sounds like a sort of thing that, you know, 5-year-old would kind of come up with. But Robotnik, it kind of sounds like, I don't know, it's like a complex name, right? I know it's Kinto Ball reverse, but it just sounds like just Robotnik, it just sounds like such a cool name. But what do I think about the idea of Gilmour? I wasn't exactly too thrilled when I first started getting into Sonic the comic, but I grew a lot of like for the character. He is a lot stronger than people give him credit for, and when he's not at Robotnik's side, he really pulls. He really shows that he can function as a single unit as he's taken over. One of the prisons that he's locked in, and also partially, manipulating and lying to the Draken Empire as orders of Robotnik, that he's actually pretending to betray him. And I think it's a much better. I'm really glad that they went with the Gilmour idea, a completely original character, as opposed to the Snively character, which was the original plan. I just don't think that would have worked as well if it was going to end up being Snively. Super has become an even bigger win button than ever. Clearly we need to pull an SDC to make it a risk to use. The Badniks... Oh, missed some comments here. Badniks in Sonic Forces were awful. Yeah. Yeah, indeed. Yeah. The AI in that game was laughable. STC has Discord. I do indeed. The link should be in this live stream, I think. or if not, you can't find it, go on the home page of this channel and the link will be in the top right. Yeah, the Sonic the Comic Discord is in here. Feel free to join. Always up for having awesome new members in the chat. I'm just terribly not that active in there at the moment, but there are admins in there that are running it. Fleetway had troopers, Satam had swap bots, modern Sonic got robots and forces. Yeah, we know what you're saying. Yeah, the citizens look like the animals you save. Indeed. Metal Sonic was called Metallics because they wanted to have his own identity as a character in it, and it was kind of branching off to be the Brotherhood of Metallics, which I think was a very cool name and idea. You know, I think it slips off the tongue easier as opposed to it being the Brotherhood of Metal Sonic, whereas Metallics kind of sound. Metallics has the sound of like a unit. I mean, the original plan. This is one where the editor actually did step in. The original plan for Metal Sonic, because he's technically still called Metal Sonic in Sonic the Comic, because he's referred to as Metallics for the Metal Sonic, which you'll see in this issue that's playing now. But his original plan name, this was from Nigel Kitching, was he was going to be Metallico, which you know, that sucks. Let's be realistic here. Metallico is not a name that really suits Metal Sonic. And this is when the editor did step in at this time and said, no, Metallics is a better name, and it was changed to Metallics. And even Nigel agrees now that yes, that is a much better name than Metallico. What is the music used for the Dragon Empire? That is the, what's his name from Sonic Forces? The Time Eater. Theme of the Time Eater. I kind of think that theme goes quite well with the Dragon Empire. This is such an awesome issue. You think at this time this was technically the first real big like fight. This was like the really first big fight feel in an issue of Sonic the Comic. I think my biggest concern with the name Metallico, as someone's put there, is that it kind of sounds a bit too much like Mario. You know what I mean? I think of it, Metallico, Mario, really does sound quite similar. Maybe that's kind of what Nigel might have been thinking of, because, you know, Metal Sonic is Sonic's rival, and Mario was definitely Sonic's rival in the 90s, 100%. And maybe, can't confirm that as actually being true, but it does sound a bit like it. Also, I don't think anyone mentioned it yet, but Metallic was so much better than in the Arch Metal. Archie Metal didn't even win a single fight. Yeah, I'm not even going to go into that. All I'm going to say is that you're right. Welcome, Lord Dukestar. We're going to be wrapping up the stream pretty soon. But appreciate you dropping in. Metallics works as a name for a whole series of copies of Sonic. There you go. I had a much more convoluted explanation to what you've just said there. But you've said basically what I was trying to get across. And I agree, Prosecutor. Have I seen any of the new IDW stuff? Not really, no. I don't really keep up with it anymore. No. Have I read the Exit Sonic comic. I have. A couple of years ago when it came out, I think. Was it last year? 2 years ago? No, Mighty does not have a solo story in Sonic the Comic. He's always featured with the other characters. In fact, the only character that kinda had a solo story, was Charmy, who actually had one story where he was with Towers. It wasn't really technically even considered solo because he was with Towers, but I believe that, to my knowledge, trying to wrap my brain, is he was the only character that had a story where he wasn't with the other Chaotix. Unless you include Vector, who was on his own in Showdown Part 2 in issue 130. Was it really that long ago? Blimey. That must have been when it was then. I suppose it feels long ago because we're now in 2021, whereas I suppose I could have said like 2 years ago, but it's actually now coming up to 3 years. Okay, so guys, I will be back in just a moment. Keep the chat box coming. I just need to go grab something and I will respond to your questions or comments as soon as I get back.
Some hell.
Okay, we are back. We've got quite a few comments here since I've been away. Let me scroll up and see what we got. Let me just try to find the spot I left out. I see we've just finished the Sonic Terminator arc. In one of those issues, Dr. Robotnik sends Sonic to an alternate timeline where Tails did drown. Indeed, he did. Robotnik reigns supreme. When remembering the Fleetway Sonic comic, a flood of memories came back, having to wait patiently for the latest issue. Yeah, same. Very much same. Those 2 weeks, were a nightmare to wait for, and you know, my parents never did agree to do the subscription for it either, so I always had to rely on going there, getting it. I believe it was Wednesdays that they came out, and I know when it happened to be a time when I wasn't at school, I would try to rush down to the paper shop or newsagent, whatever, and get there as soon as it opened just so I could get the issue. Good times. I guess my parents probably thought, it's just a comic series, you know, it's just a thing, he's not going to be that interested in it, there's no point getting a subscription. And I suppose to their defence, you know, most people do go through and into things quite easily. I think the only problem with reserved issues, which I didn't really know until I saw people selling stuff on eBay, is that reserved issues always had writing on the cover. It would be the person's name, or it would be a sticker, which is, if you're trying to collect mint issues of Sonic the Comic, you don't really want someone's name on there, which kind of it sucks a little bit if you're trying to get a collection. Welcome, Blade Genesis, if you're still here. Goodbye, Stacy. Thank you for joining the live stream. You probably already left. Michael is asking how far ahead were the team. Okay, so the team were usually ahead by about 6 months. So your analysis is probably quite accurate. 68 and it would have been 72. But of course, the artists and some of the stories, and because obviously they were done by different artists, especially towards the late towards issue 100, there would have been 4 stories. Some of the stories would have been worked well ahead of time, and they could have been added to the issue itself. And I know they were about 6 months ahead because on the original artworks, it has a date on the back of them that shows you when they were actually completed, and you can date that to when the actual release of the issue itself came out, and it's around 6 months. Billy Dugdale, Orange Hedgehog wants to know. It's a bizarre question to ask me, but I've not unsubscribed to anyone. I've not subscribed to anyone for a while, but I've not unsubscribed to anyone. So I don't. That's a very random question, but I hope it's answered you. Welcome back to Neon the Hedgehog. Some late additions to the streamers. We've been going there for almost 2 hours, but I'm going to keep going for a little bit longer. We'll see how this goes. Does anyone know where you can get trades? That I do not know. I'm afraid. I'm sure there's collectors groups and whatnot out there that will probably be able to help you with that. I guess it all depends on what you're trading. I can't help you because I don't have any issues myself. Thank you kindly once again for a super chat. This is like the fourth one I think we've had now on the stream, and it's very much appreciated. Very much. Helps the channel out immensely. Definitely time to celebrate. Next week we'll have a big video up, hopefully. I can't pin myself down and say it will certainly be up because I don't like making promises just in case, but it should. It's like a 95% chance I should have a new video up next week. But thank you very kindly. Good to get back on the channel. It's been a long time since I've been actively regular here on Sonic the Comic Reviews. Yeah, I don't know anything about the franchise, but I know someone was talking about some new Five Nights at Freddy's game, so I'm guessing that's what that's about. What are you talking about? Yeah. Something you wonder from time to time is how much longer STC? It's a very good question, and I'm sure this has been brought up by Nigel before. I'm sure he has answered this, and I think he has stated that it would have gone on for longer. Of course, that's an easy response, but you know, would Nigel have wanted to have been pinned down with this job for that much longer? Because I'm sure they'll tell you that this was like one of a great. You got to remember the artists, especially Nigel and Richard. They were literally from the beginning to the end of this. They were on this for a lot of years. Would they have wanted to have been doing this for their entirety of, long part of their life? I don't know, but it was for certainly guaranteed that there was scripts in the works that was going to be at least 10, 20, 30 issues down the road, at least I'd say. So we would at least have gotten to well into the 200s for sure. I think it would have eventually still been canned, mostly because Sega was going through a lot of different changes in the early 2000s. And they were really restructuring themselves as a company and cutting a lot. Because obviously, if you think they've just had a very big financial failure with the Dreamcast, sadly. It was an amazing machine. I wouldn't say a massive financial failure. It definitely was a failure in terms of its financial sales. It did start off strong, but then it just kind of dwindled due to reasons. So I think it would at least have gone on to the early 2000s. Sonic the Comic. It really would have been good for there had to have been at least a few more stories where the artists knew that this was going to be the end story to end everything on. Even though the Sonic Adventure arc does a really, really good job of summing up a lot of things in the Sonic Adventure arc, issue 184. Nigel never knew that was going to be the last story. He wasn't told until literally just before. It was they was told, yeah, this is it now. No more stories after this. The Sonic Adventure arc will be the last one. So it's a shame that he weren't given the chance to do a few more stories at least afterwards that could have wrapped up a lot of the loose ends. Lou Stringer knew that the Game Over arc was going to be his final work, and he wrapped up a lot of things from his side of it on there. In fact, he has joked that the title for that arc, Game Over, was literally an inside joke from himself that, you know, it was his time was over for Sonic the Comic. So it weren't just, even though the title suitably fitted the story itself, and it's an amazing story, by the way, the Game Over arc, one of my favourites from him, but it was like an inside joke from himself there. Okay, what we got here? Jonathan, I'm not sure if I'm going to pronounce this right, BT, apologies if I didn't. Thank you for releasing these videos. Thank you firstly for coming on these videos and watching them. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate your kind words. You've got so many fond memories of these comics. When I was a kid living in Cyprus, you had your nana send Sonic the Comics over to you. Wow, that's pretty incredible. And think of this, you was probably one, if you was one of the few, or maybe even the only, to have even had issues of Sonic the Comic in Cyprus, because I said, we was discussing this earlier in the stream of, you know, how hard was it to get issues of Sonic the Comic in other countries around the 90s era. So, I do know from experience going to some holidays, and I have been to Cyprus when I was quite young, some of the holiday resorts there would have imported comics and magazines for kids that were like on holidays with their parents, but from my memory it was mostly things like the Beano and stuff. I don't recall Sonic the Comic, but they might have had in some resorts. But you were definitely one of the few that had imported Sonic the Comic, so really, really awesome. That's a really awesome story as well. You feel sad about Fleetway ending, but at least it wasn't forced to make stories about the Zeti. Yeah, indeed, I totally agree with you. One thing I always say about Sonic the Comic ending is that I'm glad the comic series ended on a high note, and not a bad note. It didn't become stale, boring, repetitive, and, you know, just bad. Not saying that's about certain other comic series that might be out, but and you got to remember, Sonic the Comic was, a lot of it was a product of its time. There's no way they would get away with as much as they did back then as they would now. As I confirmed earlier in this video with a friend who worked on Sonic the Comic and then Sega recently, and he's told me how different and it is. Okay, let me scroll back up. Missed a few comments here. This channel is your first introduction to STC, Blade Genesis this is, and you're thankful for it. Well, thank you kindly. You found out that you actually love these comics. You class it as my first as few pages as I've seen I didn't know the origin of. Awesome story. The first video you saw was the history of Supersonic. A lot of people have. That video did kind of blow up last year and it got a lot of traction and a lot of new subscribers, which was really, really awesome. After some spring cleaning, you recently discovered some of your old issues. You got some of the later ones there as well, which are quite harder to get. But that's pretty awesome, Mickey Bite. You remember that your granddad bought your first issue? He knew that you liked Sonic, so it was in the shop. It's a really good decision right there. Led the way for being such a big fan of the comic. Yeah, Cosmic the Hedgehog kinda does remind you of Archie's, is it Scarouge they pronounce it? Some people have actually called it a rip-off of Scarouge. Now, the thing is, Scarouge predates, Cosmic predates Scarouge by about like 10 years. Chances are Cosmic was probably created before the person commenting was even born. But hey, some people just jump to conclusions. Who am I to say? You imagine you would have gotten a Sonic Adventure 2 adaptation. That would have been awesome. Can you imagine that? I mean, if they had the opportunity to have done, like, let's just say we had Sonic Adventure 1 arc. They would have probably done a few more stories and whatnot afterwards. And then, of course, Sonic Adventure 2 come out. And Fleetway, which was now Egmont at the time, and Sega said, right, this is going to be the final story. It's going to be a 10-parter, and you can literally do what you want. Just, this is it. And Nigel would have had the absolute chance to wrap up the entire franchise. And that would have been a really, really awesome way to send off the Sonic the Comic, in my opinion. But with all that said and done, I'm still glad with what we got. Would I consider being a guest on your live Twitch game show? Well, I appreciate the offer, but unfortunately I don't have a Twitch account, so I don't know if I can come on there without an account. You feel privileged for that? Definitely. Yeah, he was one of the lucky few to have it. Sonic the Comic in Cyprus. That's pretty amazing. Robotnik reigns supreme, including Sonic in space. Yeah, awesome. Somehow your friends knew about Fleetway Sonic back in 2002 or 3. That's pretty awesome. And you got to think, by that point, Sonic the Comic had already been a year out of print. Sonic 2001, and it was literally January 2001 that the last issues were sold. Yeah, nothing's going to beat the artwork of the originals. Yeah, your idea sounds interesting. Sonic, the game show game. It'll have to be a chance if I'm going to do something like that when I'm not so wrapped up with so busy at the moment. But yeah, maybe we could do something. Scarouge, whatever he is, whatever it's pronounced, it's just. I just call it Sonic Recolor, as that's basically what he is. She had a subscription for me at some point. She stopped sending them to me as she thought I was getting too old for them. And now you have a box full of the old issues. That's awesome. It's funny how parents and grandparents think, isn't it, really? You look at it and you think, oh, it's just a comic. The kid's not going to be that interested in it forever. He'll grow out of it. And lo and behold, here we are, 20 years later, or whatever, 15 years, talking about it on some guy's live stream. It's funny how the world works sometimes. Yeah, SDC can be very proud that it left people wanting more. I think that's a great way. Going out on top is definitely the way to go. Wait, I think you are correct. It may well have been 2002. I know it came out on Boxing Day, issue 223. It may have been technically it would be 2001, but it would have come off the shelves in 2002. Let me double check. I'll check right now for you. You're right. So technically the issue came out in 2001. It came out Boxing Day, the 26th of December, and it was pulled off the shelves the 9th of January 2002. So technically both answers are correct, I'd say. You could say 2001 or 2002 it ended, and both statements are technically true. What is your favourite SDC character? I'm actually going to say Dr. Robotnik. Supersonic is great too, absolutely, but I just love how well written and in-depth Robotnik is as a character and how much he grew, his character development. It's a dangerous game when you keep using a villain over and over again. It can make the villain repetitive, stale, uninteresting, and just laughable, to be honest with you. But Nigel and Lou Stringer did a great job of keeping Robotnik fresh and giving him character development and growth as the series prolonged. Because Robotnik was used a lot. You see a lot of other media with a franchise, and the main villain usually has a rest gap, and then he will appear much later. Robotnik was used a lot. He didn't have many gaps in Sonic the Comic. There was probably only the largest gap where he wasn't present was probably after he was defeated in the Robotnik Reigns Supreme Showdown, and then he reappeared in the Shannon's arc, which probably may have been about 15 issues. That was the longest gap he had. Otherwise, he was quite prominent. But it was always a different. It was always different whenever he appeared. He was always up to something different. He always changed his game plan. He was never the same. You could never anticipate what his move was going to be. You know, it wasn't just, oh, Eggman bad, Eggman try to take over planet, Eggman big robot, Eggman bad. It was, you know, like what we get now. And this is again, it just goes to credit why Sonic the Comic was so well received, because for the most part, Sonic the Comic was wrote by two people for the most part, which is why we have such a fluid story from literally the beginning to the end of the series' life, unlike other Sonic media. Yes, I know the origin of the green Sonic. Yeah, Metamorphia. Yeah, gave you the chills. There's a really awesome character. Definitely one of Lou's best, excuse me, original characters. Been a while since you saw this channel. Well, welcome back, Jackson Platinum. Robotnik was indeed amazing. I'd definitely say he's my favourite incarnation of Robotnik from all versions. You know what, Michael, that's a very good question, and you know, I've never actually even thought to ask that before. I don't know if it was a well, I can't say for certain, I can only speculate. I mean, the free gifts were used for the majority of the entire run of Sonic the Comic, so I don't think it would have been used to kind of boost low sales. I think it might have been used to just essentially increase the great sales they were already receiving. Because, you know, put candy on comic, kid likes candy, kid wants comic, right? You know, that might be a good question to ask the editor, really. I don't know if Nigel or Richard will probably know the answer to that. They might do. But the next time I get a chance, I will look into that, because I'm actually quite curious myself. Thanks to the channel, you finally get to see those 2 arcs. Appreciated. You love when Robotnik got that massive power up that basically went insane. He wasn't afraid to destroy even himself just to get Sonic. Indeed. You're referring to the Game Over arc. Amazing arc. Yeah, Jonathan, your response is very accurate. If you've got older issues of Sonic the Comic today, even, it's nigh on impossible to store it if it's still got the food on it, because I've only got one issue that's still actually got some food on it, and it's the alien lolly that was in I can't remember the issue number now, 159 maybe, and the lolly has literally become a part of the issue itself. It has literally molded itself. The plastic has kind of plastic that doesn't erode, it takes thousands of years to do that, but kind of leaked. The product itself has leaked through an air gap in the plastic. I mean, I've got the issue now sealed in a plastic sleeve, but I mean, that piece of food is like 22 years old. Pretty mental when I think of it that way. There are no backstories for villains in modern comics. There might have been one. That's a very good point. Very good question. Not a good question, sorry. A very good point. And that is true. You don't really see backstories for villains in modern Sonic media. Apparently, to your question, Jonathan, about Metamorphia, Mecha from the 80s cleared this up a little bit earlier, and he said Metamorphia was actually based off the Skrulls from Marvel, and you can kind of look at it, especially Super Skrull, you can definitely see the comparisons between the two. Welcome, cute little shipper. Interesting name. $20k subs. I don't know about that. That's a bit too close. That's a bit too close. I think we need to do a goal that more unrealistic. We'll say 100k. If I can get the silver play button, I'll do a video with that play button eating it. That seems like a fair deal. Of course, the chances of me getting to 100k are, you know, really slim. But it's not impossible. We'll say that. Definitely not impossible. Shadow called me weak. Yeah, there's your modern backstory for a villain. If Shadow calls you weak, that's enough to make you go into a dark void to become evil. Modern writing. So what we have hit though, while we've been streaming, is we have hit 17.2 thousand subscribers, which is pretty awesome. We was on 17.1 when we started, and we've now gathered a few subscribers from the stream, which is awesome. Thank you if you're one of them new subscribers, and also thank you for the original subscribers. We've now hit 17.2. Pretty awesome. Please don't get responsible. No, like I said, if I hit 100k, I'll do it, but the chances of that happening are, yeah, it very low. I'll do a video of me with that play button and I'll eat it. You remember about 2 years ago, you tried to make a backstory for Infinite from Sonic Forces, but looking back at it now, it was really bad. Chances are, Blade Genesis, even though you probably say your backstory is bad for the Sonic Forces plot, it's probably still better than what we've got as a whole for Sonic Forces. Are you in contact with any of the people behind the comics? I'm not actually on Twitter anymore, but I am in contact with a couple of them, and Richard, as in Richard Elson, he's actually one of my best friends now. And I speak to him quite frequently, obviously not like Sonic the comic related, like just in general stuff, but yeah, he's a really, I've known him now for almost 10 years as like a personal level. And yeah, he's honestly, he's, you know that saying where they say, you know, don't meet your heroes? You know, that can be true for a lot of things, definitely, but when it comes to Richard, who is someone I really admired and was, honestly, I'd say a hero for me growing up, and looking at his art, meeting him, was, getting to know him has been like a true, I don't know the word to say, it's just been amazing, honestly. I'd say he's honestly made me a better person just by knowing him. He's such a nice person. How come I'm not on Twitter? That's kind of self-explanatory, really, right? I just don't like the place. It's not a place I am enjoyable. I don't feel enjoyable to be on there, to be honest with you. It's just not a nice place. And, you know, I don't really have a lot of free time to look at social media as it is. When I'm looking at a place that I don't really look at, I don't really feel, you know, like seeing on there. I'm not going to talk about this long because this is not a topic I really want to cover, but especially when I'm like at work or something and I load it up and then I see some of the stuff that's on there, this is not the sort of stuff I want like coming up when I'm at work. So I just ask myself, what's the point in using it then if you're not enjoying it? So I just quit, left my account, and I've not been on there since last year. Can't remember. I won't be going back. I've deleted it all. But I am on some of the other media accounts, but I don't really use them that much. They're either there for messaging services or they're just private accounts, really, for me to keep in contact with some of my close circle. The backstory you used for Infinite was where he lived. It was overrun by Robotnik's forces and the Resistance couldn't make it in time. And when Robotnik used him for experiments, the Phantom Ruby caused him hate. See, that's a pretty good story. Nothing wrong with that. It's a lot more in depth just by those 2 paragraphs you sent us. A lot more in depth than what Sega gave us. We shouldn't sit here and just knock modern Sega too much. It is very easy just to sit here and judge them, but they are trying to do the right thing. I know it may seem hard to look at sometimes, but they are trying. You know, it's funny to sit here and laugh at this stupidness like Forces, but you know, no one wants to see Sega fail. At least I don't. I want them to make a real big success of a Sonic game. I want to see that. Is that going to be the heavily rumoured Sonic Adventure remake? Maybe, I don't know if that even is going to happen. I mean, I don't really think Sonic Adventure needs a remake. I'd rather them actually do a fresh new game. But, I don't know, maybe we'll see, eh? That's awesome, you know, Richard. He's the Sonic artist extraordinaire. Yeah, honestly, he to this day, if I was to put a list of people I respect most in this world, and I could probably only list those people on one hand, he would be one of them, without a doubt. Yeah, the Spider-Man one he did, that was awesome too. I think I've got it somewhere. And did you check out his new piece he did last year for the Sonic R anniversary? If you haven't, I used it as a thumbnail for my Sonic R video from Christmas. If you haven't seen it, it's a really, really awesome piece. Welcome, Gianni. Apologies if I pronounced that wrong. You forgot to join the stream even though you set a reminder. Well, we're currently on overtime at the minute. We're on overtime. I was actually planning on going about a half hour ago, but we're still going because the chat's been quite frequent, and I'm having a lot of fun chatting to you guys, as I hope you are too. Has there ever been talk of a reboot of Sonic? Hang on, let me read that properly again. Has there ever been talk of a reboot? Sonic's popularity is pretty high these days. Of Sonic the comic? As far as I'm aware, no. In fact, Sega seem to forget that it even exists. I mean, even if they were just to re-release the series in volumes, like it would literally cost them next to nothing. It would make money, but it's just not happened. And it's not to do with rights or anything either, because I've seen and spoke to the writers who own the rights for some of the characters they have, and they're totally fine with them re-releasing the stories. Just definitely not a rights issue. I think it's just laziness, really, I guess, from whatever, Sega's behalf. There's an IDW issue about Infinite. He was a mercenary and he attacked Eggman, and Eggman was like, hey, don't fight, join me. And he was like, okay. See, that's modern writing right there, hey? You can write that, you're hired. Who do you think the creepiest horror game character is and why? I've never played a Five Nights of Freddy game, so I have no idea who that is. Horror game character. Well, from experience from when I was very young, I'd probably say the Nemesis from Resident Evil. Especially, like the original I'm talking about here. That game used to frighten the hell out of me. You look at it now and it's quite, obviously the graphics are quite dated, but yeah, I'd say Nemesis. Such a shame they couldn't recapture that magic in the remake. Looking forward to the Sonic Netflix series. Yeah, we talked a little bit about that earlier in the stream. Ink Bendy. Oh, with a name like that, I hope he's got something going for him. I remember the craze from a few years ago when everyone was talking about Slenderman. Obviously that's kind of dead now, that sort of thing, but that was huge. I know it was mostly made big by, you know, the big YouTubers, PewDiePie of course. And I mean, can you believe they even made a film of it? I heard it was appalling, but I didn't see it. The big kind of trend we've got now is Siren Head, is it? I know it's not a video game, but a lot of people talk about signing. Some people actually think he's real. Pontank and Graf are no longer writing for Sonic anymore, which opens the door to writers. Look up on Wikipedia. No, sorry, Jonathan, I must have said it incorrectly. He did a drawing of, it wasn't a comic, it was just one picture of Sonic R. It was an anniversary picture celebrating the release of Sonic R. He was only commissioned one piece by Sega. It was a really awesome piece as well. It had all the characters from Sonic R on it. It would have been awesome if he did a comic on Sonic R. Man, I really hope they make Generations 2 this year. Yeah, I'd go with Generations 2. I'm hoping it's Generations 2 and not an Adventure remake. I love Adventure. It's one of my favourite Sonic games. But I really don't think it needs a remake. But remakes make money, right? Look at all these remakes we've had recently that are killing it. You know, Nintendo, Game Freak, whatever, rolling out remakes. Square Enix rolling out remakes. Capcom rolling out remakes. They make money. So Sega, from a financial point of view, a Sonic Adventure remake might make sense. Yeah, we've got guys and girls here, Jonathan. We're all here. I personally would hope that it doesn't follow the IDW story for Sonic Prime. I'm hoping it's its own separate entity. I think it needs to be its own universe, not linked to anything else. That way it's got more freedom. But we'll see. And as I said earlier, I don't understand the name. With something like Sonic Prime, it really should have been on Amazon instead, shouldn't it? Really? It would make more sense. Seeing as that Amazon have Amazon Prime, that's their service for TV and whatnot. Lord Dukes, have I ever been to Alton Towers? I have, but it was a long time ago. It was so long that I weren't even tall enough to go on some of the rides. Unfortunately, I had planned to go down there when they had the Sonic crossover with the Spinball ride, and I really wanted to stay in the hotel. I never got the chance, and by the time that I wanted to do something, the promotion had ended. The ride is, of course, obviously still there, the Spinball ride, but it's not Sonic crossovered anymore. I mean, favourite ride? I mean, I don't really remember too much of it. I remember the Black Hole, but that's not even there anymore. I think that's now the Smiler. That's how long ago it was when I went there. And one day, obviously, once the pandemic has quietened down, I would like to go there. Because I do like theme parks. I do. Yep, new Sonic show exclusively on Netflix. They are backing it. They are the financial backers. Five Nights at Freddy is getting a movie. Well, I can't say I'm surprised. I mean, if something like Angry Birds can get a movie, then I'm certain anything can get a movie nowadays. The Sonic, what we got here? You just check the artwork, it's amazing. What's even more amazing, yeah, that website has been around a while. I haven't been on there in years, many years. Why did I leave Twitter? I did just cover it, Mecca. Maybe you just disappeared for a little while. I'm not going to repeat myself again. I just don't find it an enjoyable place to be. I really, really don't. And then I've got to ask myself, why would I want to be on a place that I'm not enjoying being? I never really use it that much anyway, to be honest. So I just left the account. Haven't been on there since last year. No, I won't be ever returning. You hope it's going to be its own story, but from the little evidence we've got, it's going to be an IDW. If it is, then that's kind of really... I've lost interest already. Maybe Sonic Boom won't be my least favourite anymore. We'll see. We'll see. We'll give it a chance at least. Regardless of whatever it's going to do, we'll give it a chance. Michael Brent, you're asking me a lot of characters that should get live action movies. I've only actually played Mega Man from the list you've put there, and I've only actually played one of the Mega Man games. But sure, why not, as long as they're done properly. I mean, the Sonic movie pulled it off, right? And we've seen some, not many, but we've seen a few successful movie to video game tie-ins. The first Mortal Kombat, that's a brilliant film. I know there's a new one of that coming out, but that looks a little bit pants. I don't mind the Jean-Claude Van Damme Street Fighter film. I know it's a bit cheesy, but it's like a good type of cheese. Yeah, the rest, I can't say that much about. But, you know, sure, why not? Let's make all films. Thoughts on Sonic the Comic Online? I mean, it's great that there's a group of fans out there that are obviously very big and love Sonic the Comic. Their idea of a continuation isn't really what I particularly like, and I don't think Sega would have approved it either, but kudos to them for being such big fans of Sonic the Comic, but it's not particularly for me. Mania 2, that would make sense. Eight-bit zones, yeah, 8-bit zones would be awesome, reimagining them. Did you read the Sonic and Mega Man crossover comic? Only a little bit of it. Only a little bit of it. And the artwork from it was brilliant. Really enjoyed the artwork. Lemon. He used to get them all the time when he was younger. Sunset Park from Triple Trouble. Ah, yeah, definitely. You have to go there. It's been a blast. Well, thank you for joining Blade Genesis. I will be wrapping up this stream very soon anyway. I know I've said it a couple of times now, but I definitely will be wrapping it up. But really appreciate you joining. Appreciate any of you people joining. It's been a blast. Sonic movie 2, yeah, sure. I reckon it'll be fun. Louisa Play 1559, new sub. Thank you very much for subbing. I did do a little shout out to the new subscribers earlier, but I'll give you a shout out right now. Thank you for subscribing. Do you know if Richard is in contact? Define what you mean by contact. I mean, I know he is friends with a few of them, but he's not in contact with them in terms of like work related. He doesn't give them tips on what to do with characters and whatnot. The online thing is its solely separate entity with those guys. But I guess you could say Richard is in contact, but only as kind of a personal level, not as a business. Really? Just recently someone asked him that? He said something about that quite a few years ago, actually, because I always thought it was pronounced Grimmer, but no, it is actually pronounced Grimer, which is a bit confusing because I've done several videos now where I've actually said both. I always thought it was Grimmer, but yeah, it is indeed Grimer. I'm surprised that one of the just now reached out. I prefer Mario or Sonic. To be fair, I will give you a clever response. I think the modern Mario games are certainly a lot better than the Sonic games. Let's just say that. I mean, I have been playing Mario 3D World, Bowser's Fury at the minute on Switch, and it's a lot of fun. And I had 3D World on the Wii U, and I really enjoyed it. Good game. Very good game. Mario games are... They never used to be, in terms of my eyes, but at least the modern Mario games, like the last 10 years compared to Sonic, are tons up better than what Sonic have been putting out. But overall, I will still always say, in terms of like everything, I will still always say Sonic is, you know, going to be my preferred choice. But when we're talking just games, it's a bit different. Well, it was nice hanging out on the stream. Very good. Well, thank you very much, Jonathan, for joining. Really appreciate it. Much appreciated, everyone. And we're coming up close to 10 o'clock. It's probably when I will wrap this stream up. I was planning on ending it at about 9, but we've gone into overtime. Because we've had a lot of viewers on here, which is awesome. As I've said a few times now, next Saturday, I should have a new video up. So please keep an eye out for that. Big video as well. Big video. They did it because the topic came up in their Discord. Oh, so they must have a Discord, I'm assuming. Interesting. But then again, I suppose everyone has Discord groups now and whatnot. What is your favourite character in Sonic? I guess the obvious answer would be Sonic. But if I weren't going to say Sonic, I'd say Dr. Robotnik. This is the chillest stream ever. Well, I'm glad you're having a chillest time, Gianni. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. You heard the new Sonic Netflix series is going to explore the multiverse, just like every other company is doing. Interesting. That could be good or bad. Take that. We could take that either ways. It can be done right. If anyone's a fan of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the film from about 10 years ago, Turtles Forever, did that very well, where it handled the multiverse with different, exploring other regions. So it can be done well. We'll see. We shall see. Is in my opinion, very underrated Tails arc, the Zone Runner arcs. I really like these arcs with Tails in the Zone Runner gear. He only had 2 stories as a part of it, but I think Nuts and Bolt was a very underrated villain from Sonic the Comet. Favourite Sonic show and game? Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic 3 and Knuckles. That was responding to AC. Thanks for the stream, really takes you back. I really appreciate your really kind comments, Michael, I really do. If only I'd used this education of Sonic the Comic and used it on exams that would have actually got me further in life. But hey, that's a topic for another day. And I really appreciate it. It's kind of you to say that. Keep updated. I will try to do some more of these streams in the future. So because it's always fun to talk and interact with people here on the channel. People are really awesome to talk to, and it's a great way to spend Saturday evening. But yes, thank you for joining. Goodbye and good night. And I am probably gonna wrap this stream up at the end of this issue. Do I have a favourite Sonic comic? Well, that's pretty obvious. If you don't know, then just look at the name of the channel. I didn't know his name was a problem either. I always thought it was just Grimmer. But apparently it is Mecha. Apparently I was wrong. I've been wrong for the past 25 years. Grew up on Sonic X for Fox Kids. Yeah, man, back good times when Sonic was on Sonic X was on 4Kids. It used to actually be on CITV as well here in the UK. Which is Channel 3, for those that are curious. Just after school, around like 4:45 or something. It was really great to watch it on there as well, because I didn't have always access to satellite or cable. Mastermind, I don't know. There's a lot of things that they could probably say that I wouldn't know. Like if someone said a Pacific, you know, if some of the questions were like an obscure character and what issue did they appear in, I'd probably struggle with some questions like that. I'm glad you feel the stream's been great, Jenny. What's this? Hey, your live stream donation, this feature isn't yet available in your region. I don't know why it's saying that. That's weird. I mean, you've done 2 super chats already, so I don't know why it would have a problem now. Maybe it just needs a refresh. I've never had anyone say that problem before. Let me go on my own stream and see if I can... let me see if I can super chat myself. Obviously I'm not going to, because that'd be a bit silly, wouldn't it? Oh, it says I can super chat myself, so I don't know why you might have a problem there. Awesome Jacket Dude. Maybe it's just having a bit of some technical difficulties. What is the maximum you can donate on here? 500. Wow. Obviously, the more you donate, the longer the message stays on top. And that's why the colour changes. That's crazy. 56 thumbs up now as well. That's awesome. I will leave this live stream link up probably for a day or 2 after it's finished. So for anyone that missed out on this stream and wants to catch up on some of the stuff that was said or discussed, they can do it. But afterwards I will remove it and keep it as unlisted, because I don't really want the video backlog to be full of just, you know, stream discussions. But I will keep it up for a few days. started with Sonic 3D Blast in Genesis. Not a fast start. Sonic 1. Kirby right back at you, yeah. That was a fun show too. Grimmer, as you can see, look, I'm calling him Grimmer still. When you're calling him that for so many years, it's hard to call him something different. Whenever I think Grimer, I don't think of the character from Sonic the Comic, I think of the Pokemon. That's a bit, you know, the same thing with Metallics. I always used to think, when I was a kid, it was called Metalex. Which is weird because there's no R in the spelling, but I always thought it just said Metalex. I don't know whether it's because someone else said that, maybe a friend said that, school friend or whatever. I have quite a few friends that were into Sonic the Comic as well. I think they might have called it Metalex. But yeah, I always thought it was Metalex, but it's not, it's Metallics. So I was wrong with Metallics and I was wrong with Grimer. So even to this day, I'm still getting things wrong with Sonic the Comic. So maybe I wouldn't be that good on Mastermind. Never mind, it's working again. Okay, that's great to hear. Awesome jacket, dude. We've had a lot of, we've had a really good, strong concurrent stream here. We've had a lot of people here, literally most of the stream, which is really awesome. I was quite surprised. I wasn't sure, as I've been so inactive on it for a while, whether it was going to get quite a lot of attention still. But there you go, and it's awesome. You always pronounced it that way too. Yeah, you see, there you go. I think some people also pronounce Kintober or Kintabor, however you want to say it, differently as well. Some people say Kintabor, or some people say Kintobor, Kintabor, I don't know, I can't get it right. Whatever, call him whatever you want. I will thank you really kindly once again for another super chat. Really awesome for totally overblown by your kindness. I really do appreciate it. Awesome jacket, dude. Thank you for joining. Thank you kindly for these super chats. Come back next Saturday, hopefully, and we should have another video. Maybe we'll get to see you again then. So, but yeah, thank you once again for the super chat. Really, really awesome guy. As your name suggests, awesome. Thank you. Do I have a least favourite character? Ooh, that is a tough question, that is. From maybe current media? Like, not just Sonic the Comic, I don't know, I don't really like Infinite or the Babylon Rogues, or maybe even the Zeti, whatever, Zavok and his gang. I'm not a big fan of these characters. So take your pick out of any of those. For a minute there, I thought I was reading the same super chat. You've actually super chatted again. That is really awesome of you. You really don't have to, but it's so much appreciated. I'm glad you feel it's been interesting and cool. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you very soon, hopefully. Have a great rest of your day and evening. Thank you again, awesome jacket, dude. Great. Look forward to seeing you next Saturday. Until then, take care of yourself. So yeah, for those that might have missed out earlier, Richard Elson does have some original artworks that are ending tomorrow from Running Wild Art. He does post worldwide, so if anyone's interested in getting a page from the iconic Running Wild Art, they are up for sale right now. 5 pages from part 1. I did say I was going to wrap this up, didn't I, on the previous issue? Yeah, here we are. That's good though, that's fine. Keeping it going. 56 likes now on the live stream. Awesome. And we've just hit the 3-hour mark. So that's pretty damn awesome. So we just hit issue 40, I think we're up to. 40 or 41. It's not bad, since I was going to end it at 28. Yes, we just had Sonic and the Frozen Zone in it. Welcome, Mr. Phantomastic. Hello, welcome to the live stream. We're just going to be wrapping this up very soon. You've just caught us on the tail end here, but great to see you here regardless. Maybe next time I'll try to stream a little bit earlier, so not too much earlier, so it doesn't run too late. Voice is soothing. Amazingly, I have had a few comments before saying they watch my videos for ASMR related. What is it? It's kind of classed as unintentional ASMR. I don't know. I don't understand it either. But they enjoy it, they enjoy it. Not what to say. As long as they're on the channel, that's awesome. It's 5:06 for you. You are 5 hours behind us. AC. Because it is 10 in the evening, 10:07. This is a good Saturday night. What was I up to then? I was too young to remember that. I'm not that old, I'm afraid. I'm not that old to remember what I was doing in. I know, obviously, Sonic. That was Sonic Tuesday. I can't remember, and I can't remember when I actually got Sonic 2. It would have been awesome to retrace my memories of playing those games for the first time. Very, very good times. It sucks living in the north because sun rises at 7. Is that bad? I mean, in the winter time here, the sun rises at like 9 in the morning, and then it's like it sets at like 3:30 in the afternoon. Like, we only get like less than 6 hours of sun. What you've listed there is kind of what the sunset we get at the moment here in England. That's about what we've got it at. It will change as we go into summer and we have daylight savings from next month. Thank you for joining, Gianni. It probably will have ended by then. I'm thinking of wrapping it up in a moment. But thank you very kindly for joining the live stream. It's very much appreciated. It's been a lot of fun chatting with you and everyone else. And yes, fingers crossed we've got everything ready in order for next Saturday. That's the plan. May and June last year was cold. I can't even remember what the weather was back then. No idea. Okay, so I am definitely going to wrap this stream up at the end of this issue, and this is the Christmas one planned, so there should be 2 more stories after this, I think. Yes, there is. So we'll do these last 2 these 2 stories, and I will be ending. But it's been a lot of fun. Thank you for the very kind comment, Rebecca. That's your name. You're a blessing for posting these comments. You never got to read them growing up, and you're glad you don't have to hunt them down in a virus-riddled daily type. Yeah, very kind for your positive comment there. Very kind of you. Thank you. You know, the intention of this channel is exposure to Sonic the Comic. That's the main thing, right? Exposure to Sonic the Comic. And credit everyone that was involved in this amazing comic series. The amount of content I see uploaded now on YouTube of people using other whatever, and nothing's credited. It really does shock me. Which is why you'll find every video I upload, the name of everyone that was involved in whatever particular part of that issue or series stable hold at that point. This is a pretty funny story. The next story should be Amy's solo adventure, her first actual solo story in Sonic the Comic. Could afford it, a Christmas special in the end of February. Yeah, tomorrow will be the last day in February. We're already Christmas in February. But the stream has actually been very consistent the whole way down. I'm just looking at the graph now with the viewers dropping up and down. It's roughly been very stable the whole time. Yes, so the next one I'd like to do maybe a stream, or maybe not the next one, a stream where I'm talking for as long as I can, and I'll stop, but I'll leave the stream running so the issues can play. I'll just put the volume back up on, then I can return back to it, and then we can carry on talking. If no one's here, then I'll just talk to myself. You know. So this is it. We've reached the end. I'm going to wrap this stream up. It's going to go on to the next issue, but I'm going to end it right here. Thank you everyone for watching. Appreciate it. I know a few of you have been here the entire 3 hours and 11 minutes. And that's pretty incredible. Sitting here for 3 hours. It's been a lot of fun. Keep your notifications ready. I should, fingers crossed, have everything ready for next week. And we'll get a few more streams in here and there as well. Someone's asked me to do some more Sonic gameplay videos as well, so I might get around to recording some gaming related Sonic stuff in the future, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Yeah. But yeah, thank you everyone for joining. Really is appreciated. It's been a lot of fun. As Lord Dukester has just said there, which I really appreciate, take care and stay safe. I want to revert that to every one of you people as well. Take care and stay safe. And I shall see you all in the next stream. All the best to you all.